Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to MAIA Biotechnology's channel, a targeted therapy immuno-oncology company focused on the development of first-in-class drugs with novel mechanisms of action that are intended to meaningfully improve and extend the lives of people with cancer. Yet again, joining us, Vlad, the Chief Executive Officer and Founder, who's going to take us through the investor deck today so we can get a real clerical view of the company. So first and foremost, welcome back, sir.
Thank you for having me again.
Always a pleasure to get you on. So this is really exciting. I'm just going to pass this off to you. Just take us through the investor deck, talk about the market opportunity, and then kind of break down the components so we get a better view of exactly what MAIA Biotechnology is doing.
Okay, sounds good. So our market opportunity is very significant. We are not chasing niche tumor types. These are some of the largest markets in the world. Non-small cell lung cancer is number one by mortality and by sales, $34 billion. Colorectal is second. The checkpoint inhibitors as a group sold $42 billion in 2022, on track for more than $70 billion by 2028. And THIO works equally well with all of them. Keytruda sold last year $21 billion, by a distance the best-selling oncology drug of all time. THIO is a good molecule with a profile similar to Keytruda in efficacy and a little better in safety. But it has a significant problem. It is late to the party. Market entrant number 5. So it needs to show superior efficacy to Keytruda. And the combination with THIO is key. As monotherapy, THIO tracks to a consensus analyst forecast with a peak of $2 billion a year. With THIO, it can easily become a $20 billion drug. We have multiple value-driving milestones ahead of us. The safety data was just released. Next, we filed the IND to bring the trial THIO-101 to US sites. Then overall response rates from THIO-101 in Q4 this year. This is a major inflection point. Then we open THIO-102 and THIO-103. And next year, we have the duration of response and progression-free survival from THIO-101, another major inflection point, historically a significant valuation increase. Then follows overall survival, another one, and filing for accelerated approval by 2025. In parallel, we developed the next generation of telomere targeting agents with a lead agent to follow THIO to commercial within 4 to 5 years. We are building a franchise. And now let us have a look at the pipeline of MAIA Biotech. So a very robust pipeline. Up top, THIO-101 is the phase 2 go-to-market trial currently underway, in which we test THIO in sequential combination with THIO of Regeneron. It is in second line of therapy with a Regeneron supply agreement, enrolling at multiple sites in Australia and Europe. We are filing an IND to bring the trial to the States later this year. The objective is to select the optimal dose of 3 different doses and expand the best dose arm to a regulatory size arm for accelerated approval by 2025. THIO-102 is our second phase 2 go-to-market trial. It starts with 3 cohorts: colorectal, HCC, hepatocellular carcinoma, the dominant histology in primary liver cancers, 90%, building on the first orphan drug designation that THIO received, and solid tumors of all types. We are testing THIO in sequential combination with 3 different checkpoint inhibitors: THIO, Keytruda of Merck, and Tecentriq of Genentech. The objective is to select the best combination by tumor type. This trial starts with 9 possible market entry indications. Plus non-small cell lung cancer from THIO-101, we have 10. This is very unusual for a biotech company to have so many shots on goal so early in the game. Most biotechs have barely 1. We already have 10. The trial will evolve in US, EU, and Asia. We'll start later this year, and the first accelerated approval from it is possible by 2026. The THIO-103 phase 2/3 trial begins with 2 cohorts: non-small cell and small cell lung cancer, both first line. Recently, we have announced our first 2 agents of the next generation. They have begun preclinical development towards IND, and we anticipate they will start clinical trials next year. So THIO is short for 6-THIO-DG or 6-THIO-2'-deoxyguanosine. It is the first telomere targeting agent, a small molecule that penetrates the blood-brain barrier, capable of treating brain cancers, eligible for new chemical entity marketing exclusivity, the strongest in the industry, has a dual mechanism of action, telomere targeting and immunogenic effect. It has demonstrated complete response with no recurrence in multiple tumor types. The FDA have awarded THIO 2 orphan drug designations in hepatocellular carcinoma and in small cell lung cancer. Very unusual for a drug at this stage in development. The next generation program started about a year ago. We have engineered 84 new molecules, all work through the same mechanism of action as THIO. Structurally, some are an evolution of THIO, others are new structures. We have tested them in vitro and in vivo. 7 of them have demonstrated efficacy an order of magnitude greater than the original in certain tumor types. The objective is to advance 1 new molecule to the clinic every 12 months or so. So unfortunately, cancer is not going away anytime soon. As a market, it is expanding. The most dominant age-related disease, it affects dominantly the elderly, and the population over 80 is projected to triple in the near future. By age 90, the probability of being diagnosed with a type of cancer is 40%, and to die of it, 20%. By age 100, these numbers more than double. So THIO has a dual mechanism of action, telomere targeting and immunogenic effect. First, telomere targeting. To the left of the slide, you have in blue a representation of the chromosome that contains our DNA, our genetic information. At the end of the chromosome arms, in orange, are the telomeres, our target. They are also DNA structures with a very precise function to protect the integrity of the chromosome, especially in the course of the cell division cycle. The telomeres are built and maintained by the enzyme telomerase. Telomerase is present in all normal cells in the first year of life. At about age 1, telomerase goes away, and so the telomeres have reached their maximum length. From that moment on, with each cell division, the telomeres lose a little, until in the old age, they become critically short and can no longer protect the chromosome. Mutations begin to appear, and with them, the diseases of the old age, including cancer. In cancer cells, however, something extraordinary happens. Telomerase is reactivated. The cancer cells regain their ability to grow their telomeres and so reach a state of replicative immortality, a scientific way of saying they continue to divide indefinitely, and the tumor grows and grows in the aging body. Here is where THIO comes in. THIO is picked up by telomerase, integrated in the structure of the telomeres, creates a faulty structure. The telomeres fall apart, the DNA unwinds, and the cancer cell dies. This process is fast and efficient. It happens in 24 to 72 hours, and THIO directly kills 70 to 90% of the cancer cells. Then follows the immunogenic effect. THIO forms micronuclei that contain the telomeric fragments. It presents them to the immune cells as neoantigens, and this triggers an immune response so effective that if you follow THIO with an immune therapy checkpoint inhibitor, you get complete response, no recurrence, and anti-cancer immune memory. THIO teaches the immune cells to find and kill the cancer cells on their own without any additional therapy. We have seen this in combination with Libtayo of Regeneron, with Keytruda of Merck, with Tecentriq of Genentech in multiple tumor types. And the first go-to-market is in non-small cell lung cancer with THIO of Regeneron. So the Regeneron partnership, this is in the format of a clinical supply agreement under which Regeneron provide their checkpoint inhibitor THIO, cemiplimab, free of charge for our THIO 101 go-to-market phase 2 trial in non-small cell lung cancer. This is a big deal for us. 184 patients are budgeted with 12 months of therapy and $15,000 per month. It's a $32 million participation to us. Separately, we have raised now about $40 million by selling shares, but this deal is non-dilutive. Regeneron do not take a position in the cap table. What they do take, development exclusivity in non-small cell lung cancer for the duration of this trial, estimated at 2 years, meaning we cannot run a similar trial in non-small cell lung cancer with an anti-PD-1 agent direct competitor of THIO, such as Keytruda. Any other combination remains possible in non-small cell lung cancer, and any other tumor type remains open. It is a very good deal for both parties. So a look at the ongoing trial, THIO 101 of THIO in sequential combination with THIO, cemiplimab of Regeneron. Unfortunately, more than half of non-small cell lung cancer patients present with advanced disease, inoperable and incurable with current therapies. They are typically treated with Keytruda plus minus chemotherapy in first line, but after 5 to 6 months, they progress and come to our trial. In our trial, we test 3 doses of THIO, 60 milligrams per cycle, 180, and 360. 60 milligrams per cycle is the curative dose in mouse translated to humans. Compare this with 2,500 milligrams per cycle, which is the maximum tolerated dose. It is 40 times lower. Unprecedented. We are testing higher doses as well, so that we do not leave on the table any possible additional efficacy. But even the highest dose, 360, is still 7 times under the maximum dose. So in part A, safety lead-in, we tested the highest dose. The way we give it, we break the dose in 3 equal daily doses, 120 milligrams per administration, given Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. An easy IV, 15 to 30 minutes, just like cemiplimab. Then 1 day of break, Thursday, for the immune activation effect, and then THIO, cemiplimab on Friday, given as approved. We do not change anything about THIO, just add THIO prior to THIO to make it into a regimen that works a lot better. Cycles are every 21 days. We completed part A without any dose-limiting toxicities and have started part B, efficacy and dose selection. We now randomize between the 3 doses with the objective to select the best dose on the basis of overall response rates and duration of response. Then expand the best dose arm to a registration size arm and take it to market. So we press released the very favorable safety profile from part A. We tested the highest dose of 360 milligrams per cycle, and there were no dose-limiting toxicities. The safety profile is substantially better than the current standard of care, which is chemotherapy. As a result, the Independent Safety Review Committee recommended the start of Part B, efficacy and dose selection, which we did. Here are the reported adverse events. Only a handful of grade 1 AEs, very mild. 1 occurrence of grade 2 and 1 of grade 3 that resolved very quickly. These happened in heavily pretreated patients and most likely were carried forward toxicities from previous treatments, plus the natural evolution of the disease. When we included 2 second-line patients, there were no toxicities reported. In contrast, with chemotherapy, the incidence of grade 3 and 4 side effects that require hospitalization and treatment discontinuation is 70 to 80%. This is an exceptionally favorable safety profile. Now, on to efficacy. Last week, we announced preliminary survival data in the Part A of THIO 101. The first 2 patients enrolled in July 2022 in Part A of the study continue to be alive 10 and 9 months after treatment initiation. Both patients have advanced stage 4 metastatic disease and are heavily pretreated, receiving 3rd and 4th line of therapy after previously failing treatment with an immune checkpoint inhibitor. These are the 2 bars at the top. As of now, they continue to be progression-free following their last dose, 7 and 6 months with no new treatment. Normally, discontinuation of treatment is rapidly followed by physical decline and death. So seeing patients with such survival and no disease progression in this clinical setting is amazing. This observation correlates very well with the evidence of immune responses seen in the preclinical models of lung cancer, where only 3 doses of THIO followed by an immune checkpoint inhibitor resulted in long-lasting complete response, no recurrence, and anti-cancer immune memory. In real-world practice, observed survival in such heavily pretreated patients is 3 to 4 months. This is already 10 and 9 months and counting. In fact, all of the patients we have treated to date are alive. 13 patients and counting. So the reason why the teams are always so optimistic about the THIO 101 trial is that we have seen extraordinary results in models of lung cancer. This first test was conducted in lung cancer in 2019 and published in Cancer Cell in 2020. Cancer Cell is a very reputable oncology journal where only the best quality data is accepted. We tested THIO in sequential combination with Tecentriq, atezolizumab, by Roche and Genentech. So here you have the tumor volume on the vertical and the days after tumor inoculation on the horizontal. In gray, the control arm. Without any therapy, the cancer grows very quickly. In orange, the atezo monotherapy arm. It does not do anything, grows just as fast, confirming this is an immunologically cold tumor, does not respond to immune therapy alone. In green, the THIO monotherapy arm. It has a strong effect, blocking the tumor growth for some time. But in blue, the sequential therapy of THIO and atezo with an extraordinary effect. Look at the delta between the curves. 60% complete response. To put things in perspective, Keytruda in the clinic has 1% complete response. This is 60. We later repeated this experiment with THIO followed by Keytruda of Merck and THIO followed by Libtayo of Regeneron with very similar results. Then we followed the complete responses for 70 days. There was no recurrence. 70 days in mouse are like 7 years in humans. The curative threshold is 5. At this point, they are cured. But we go above and beyond and re-challenge with implanting 5 times more lung cancer cells with no additional treatment. There is no take. Immune memory is now in place because of THIO. THIO has taught the immune cells to find and kill the cancer cells without any additional therapy. No anti-cancer agent other than THIO has data like this. So with this extraordinary premise, we go to second-line non-small cell lung cancer, where the standard of care is chemotherapy. Very toxic, not effective. Overall response rates are reported in the literature at 11 to 23%. In real-world practice, our investigators confirm that they never see double digits. There is no complete response. Duration of response and progression-free survival are very short at 4 months. Overall survival is 10 months. Just terrible. Any 20% improvement on these numbers makes a drug approvable and the new standard of care. 30% overall response rates and 6 months duration of response or better are the threshold for accelerated approval as of today. It's a very low bar. And THIO is coming in with curative premise. It is a very high probability of success trial indeed. We have an excellent and reliable biomarker of activity. It is called TIPS, an acronym that stands for telomere dysfunction induced foci. These are the yellow dots where the arrows point at in the picture to the left. They always appear when THIO destroys the telomeres. They maximize after 48 hours of administration with a range of 24 to 72, and their formation indicates the on-target mechanism of action of THIO. A look at our second go-to-market trial, THIO 102. This trial is of a modern design, baskets with umbrella arms. It starts with 3 baskets, colorectal, HCC, following up on the first orphan drug designation, and solid tumors of any type, a signal generation arm. As soon as we see the signal of efficacy forming for a specific tumor type, we make it into an additional basket arm. In this trial, we test THIO in sequential combination with 3 different checkpoint inhibitors, LibTHIO, Tecentriq of Roche and Genentech, and Keytruda of Merck. The objective is to select the best combination by tumor type and expand into a pivotal arm in Part C for accelerated approval. Now, in colorectal, we have seen our best results to date. Complete response, no recurrence, and even when rechallenged with 10 times more colorectal cancer cells, 10 times more, and no additional therapy. There is never a cancer take. Anti-cancer immune memory is in place because of THIO. And the bar is even lower. In colorectal, in salvage setting, the standard of care is chemotherapy. Very toxic. And it does not work. Overall response rates under 2%. Progression-free survival of 2 months. Overall survival up to 7. Any 20% improvement on these numbers makes a drug approvable. Similar results we have seen in small cell lung cancer, the graph to the left, THIO and Pembro, and in HCC, the graph to the right, THIO and Atezo. These are the data sets the FDA have reviewed when they awarded THIO the 2 orphan drug designations. Last week, we published the most remarkable data in HCC, liver cancer models. As monotherapy, THIO achieved complete and durable responses in hepatocellular carcinoma, which is a dominant histology in primary liver cancers, 90% in vivo models, and amazing anti-cancer immune memory. When combined with LibTHIO, duration of response was further potentiated. Upon re-challenge with 2 times more cancer cells and no additional treatment, tumor growth was completely prevented. Administration of THIO alone and in combination with LibTHIO generated anti-cancer immune memory. 210 days of follow-up. That is 21 years in human years. So THIO 103 is our phase 2/3 trial that will also start later this year. This trial begins as a phase 2 with 2 cohorts, small cell lung cancer in first line, following up on the second orphan drug designation from the FDA, in which we test THIO in sequential combination with the current standard of care, EP plus Tecentriq, and non-small cell lung cancer first line, in which we test THIO and LibTHIO. This trial addresses the most important patient segment, first line of therapy. THIO is eligible for the New Chemical Entity Marketing Exclusivity, NCE, the strongest in the industry. This runs for 7 years in the US, beginning with the timing of approval, and 10 years in Europe, Japan, and other markets. It is based on the very robust and growing patent portfolio. We have 17 patents, of which 5 are already issued. The most recent patent covers THIO as an immunogenic treatment strategy in sequential combination with all checkpoint inhibitors in all tumor types. This runs until 2041. The management team is very experienced. I am a physician by my first training, businessman by my second, have spent my entire career in oncology, in pharma and biotech, about 50-50 commercial and medical. Along the way, I had the privilege to work on and launch some extraordinary oncology drugs through paradigm shifts in their day, such as Nexavar at Bayer, the first tyrosine kinase inhibitor targeted therapy, indicated for kidney cancer and HCC, where we are now going with THIO. It peaked at over $1 billion per year. Tarceva at Astellas for first-line non-small cell lung cancer, where we are also going with THIO. It peaked at $3 billion. Xtandi for prostate cancer, now at almost $5 billion. But not one of them had such a curative premise going into the clinic as THIO does. Not even Keytruda nor Libtayo did. And not such an extraordinary safety margin of 40x, nor such a great applicability in multiple tumor types. THIO works in all cells that are telomerase positive. 85% of cancer cells are telomerase positive, and less than 1% of normal cells are telomerase positive. This is indeed an extraordinary value proposition. And with this, I would like to say thank you for listening. And Kyle, back to you.
On that note, I definitely appreciate this in-depth overview of the investor deck today, and I'll pass the question off to the viewers. We'd love to know what you think in that comment section below. Again, consider subscribing, because as these trials come into play, we're going to update you here. But on that, as always, we look forward to catching you in the next one.